to welcome everybody to our June 12, 2024 Bruce Township Board of Trustees meeting. Let me get a roll call, please. Emery? Here.
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 Again for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance.
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Has everybody had a chance to take a look over the consent agenda? Is there any deletions, additions that they'd like to make at this time?
Yeah, I'd like to add Bruce Township employees' pay stubs.
As an agenda item?
Yes.
Has it got to be approved before? Something like that, I mean?
No, I guess it doesn't.
What is it?
It's to be more transparent with vacation time, personal time, sick time.
There's no additional cost in it or anything, isn't it?
No.
Just done through our...
No, there is no
payroll?
additional cost, I already checked.
And we can...
It's part of the service.
I guess we can add it and approve it. It would be added, not on there currently.
No, it's not. It's very, the pay stubs are very vague. They don't tell you nothing other than gross amount.
Can we add it to 7O then? Because we have something I
Yeah.
was going to put on 7N. Anything else, Frank?
No, that's it for me.
Reese?
I'm good.
Susan? Good. I'd like to add item 7N. We need a wording change to the conditional rezoning for 156 West Gates. If there's no other changes, can we get somebody to make a motion to approve as amended?
I'll make
Make 'em-
that motion.
Support?
Motion by Smith, support by DeGiorgio. All in favor?
Aye.
Did you say aye, Susan?
I did.
Opposed? None. Motion passed. Okay, we'll move on to item 4, which is hearings and reviews. We have none, so we'll go to item 6, unfinished business, which is Sage Solutions HR Consulting. I know Frank's been kind of dealing with that somewhat.
I was, but Susan ended up taking over, so.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, skipped over comments from the floor. Let's move to item 4, which is comments from the floor. So right now is the time when if you have comment that you'd like to make, please stand up to the podium, come up to the podium, state your name and your address, and we'd appreciate it if you keep your comments to a maximum of 3 minutes. So, does anybody have anything you want to say?
Ariana Welsh, 11299 37 Mile. Wanted to address the newsletter that is up for discussion tonight. I feel that there's a lot of discussion that has happened around the newsletter, at least within my neighborhood, with the waste of the paper and printing and cost to the township. So what I would like to do is ask the board consider reducing the waste of the additional paper, seek an alternative option, still produce the newsletter that people can know what's going on, which is great. I love that. But potentially put it as a QR code on the tax bill, something that somebody can scan, just read it digitally, put it on the township website. Or even upon request, mail it, just because that's still a cost savings to the township, just mailing the specific ones that are requesting it. If it's a must that you use the, or actually include that in future tax bills and notices and that, I'd like to see you use a Bruce Township printer like Shamrock Printing, that we keep our money as local as possible if this is something that is a must that we see moving forward. But I did FOIA a couple of the bills and was just based off what I was seeing between $900 and $2,400 per print. And I feel that that money could be spent a lot better places than on something that maybe gets 2 or 3 minutes of a read before it's tossed into hopefully a recycle bin, but usually a trash can. So, thank you.
Thank you. Time, anybody else? Anne Marie?
Hi, my name is Anne Marie Boyce, and I just wanted to say a few words with regard to the appointments you're going to be filling this evening. Thank you for considering me to fill the remainder of Mike Tremblay's trustee term, as well as his position as the board liaison to the Planning Commission. You have my resume and my application, and I believe my qualifications speak for themselves. I've done both jobs before, sitting on a city council as well as on the Planning Commission. I have no intent to run in a future election. I come without any baggage to my knowledge, and I have no agenda other than to help until the election this fall. If you select me for Mike's position, I would ask that the appointment to the Planning Commission, also on this evening's agenda, be temporary, and that would be the way that would allow me to return to my regular non-trustee Planning Commission position after the new trustees are on board in November. I'm happy to answer any questions you have regarding my qualifications. And also, when you get to the 2 zoning ordinance amendments that are on your agenda for this evening, one's a site plan related and the other is on the industrial districts, I'm happy to provide any background on the PC's recommendation to amend those ordinances if it would be helpful to you. I was part of both discussions. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks, Anne Marie. Is there anybody else at all? Okay, we'll close public comment. Thank you. And we'll move on to item 7A, which would be, 6A, which is Sage Solutions, HR Consulting. I know that we had discussed that last month, and we did approve $2,500 with Susan being the contact on that. I think that there was a nay vote by Susan. I'm not really sure, but Frank, I think, has been kind of talking with
My
Heidi.
nay vote does not, the board passed this, that I am, look at page 2 of the minutes we just approved.
I've seen it. I agree.
I am to be the
understand.
contact person, because I voted no, you're going to punish me and not let me do
Not
this.
punishing you, just wanted to make sure we move forward on it, that's all. So-
Okay, so
But if you want to
first of all,
discuss it,
I do, because I'll point out, page 2 of the minutes we approved tonight, it says it has to go to the attorney, and then it has to go, and then those other 3 stipulations. Did it go to the attorney?
Yes, it did.
And what did the attorney say?
He said that there was a typical contract, but he just thought it was a waste of time to have these
Okay,
people
well-
come in and interview people. And I don't know why he felt that it was a waste of time. In my opinion, I feel it's a good idea to get a pulse of what our employees feel.
Yes, but Frank,
If they
we
like their
made,
job
we voted on
performance,
this.
if they like if they feel they're contributing to the community. And we also have negotiations that are coming next year. So it'd be a way for us to find out what they think and what they want and what they like.
Well, when I didn't have the contract, and I was supposed to be the contact person, I contacted Seberg, and you'll see by that letter he just gave you, that he recommended that we not go through with this.
Correct, he did. But we voted at the table that, to have them do something. And we approved $10,000, up to $10,000. In this certain segment, we approved
We
up to
said
2,500.
2,500, but it had
But
to
at
go
the
to the...
board, but at the budget meeting, we approved up to 10,000.
You're manipulating it.
No, I'm
You're
not.
being
I am not,
transparent.
these are facts. At our board meeting, our budget meeting, up to $10,000 was approved to use for an HR consultant, correct?
right?
No, I don't think that's true either.
Okay, go look in your minutes.
I have.
Okay, well,
But that's
I
irrelevant,
will.
Frank. We had a vote on this last month.
right.
And we had those
Up to
stipulations.
$2,500, right.
But it had to go to the attorney for his
It did.
approval.
The contract went to the attorney.
He didn't approve it, then you just signed it and
He
sent it
approved
on.
the contract, he said it was a typical contract. He just felt it was a waste of time to bring these people in and have them question our employees.
Well,
May I comment?
Sure.
Please. Okay. So, Susan, I don't know, maybe you don't remember, we did say at the budget meeting we would allow up to $10,000. for the HR stuff.
Right.
We did, however, at the last meeting, did say that we would go with $2,500 to start with this company, with Sage, for 60 days. That was the length of time not to exceed the $2,500. We also did stipulate that it would have to be approved or at least reviewed by legal. And according to what I'm reading here, his recommendation was do not proceed with the execution of the agreement. I don't see a lot of detail as to why he said that, but he did say that, and I think we should discuss that before we sign a contract. So it's my understanding that we've already signed a contract without it coming to the board to discuss it after our attorney says, not a good thing to do. So that's my take on that.
And furthermore, we agreed that I would be the contact person. I had to go to Sage to get a signed copy of this agreement to find out where we stood, and then all of a sudden, we have things set up for today, having them come in.
Right. Because last month, you kept talking about, and you talked about it since February, about 2 men from an organization that would do it for free, but we've yet to see those guys get contacted or come in or do anything.
I had them all
So
scheduled to come in.
we're not
and this
waiting
came
no
up.
more. Things have gotten bad around here, they've gotten serious, and we need to get a hold of everything. And
You're supposed to act on behest of the board, Frank. You're not supposed to just bulldoze and go ahead and do whatever you
we
want.
approved up to $10,000.
That's irrelevant, Frank.
No, it's not.
I guess it is to some degree, Frank. It's a line item in our budget, yes. But we did discuss that we would all have to agree, the board would have to, by a majority vote, agree on this contract after it was looked at by legal. I mean, that's what we passed. So, and I think we need it, don't get me wrong. I support having that, but if we voted on, it depends on how legal looks at it and what their recommendation is. That's what we should be doing. But I do agree, we do need something in the HR.
I don't see where it says that we have to bring it back for approval a second time.
It didn't. What it said was that it was going to be approved with, here, I'm going to read it so that
I
I'm
got it
not
right here in
paraphrasing
front of
here.
me.
An agreement pending legal review of the agreement. So yes, we did agree to it, but we also agreed pending legal review of the agreement. So what does that mean to you?
And we
mean-
paid $115 for that. Now we're not going to take his advice?
When I left here at the last meeting, when I left here, my thoughts were it was going to go for legal review, come back, see what he has to say, and then are we going to continue with the contract or not? We know we need it, but I'd like to know what the deficiencies were that our lawyers saw.
My conversation with him on the phone was, it's a typical service agreement. But he felt it was a waste of time to have them come in and interview our people.
So that was what
And that's
his,
his opinion, because he don't work in this office. We
Okay.
do.
Well, that wasn't the concern. It's the legality of it. We had already decided we were going to do it, so having him look at the contract was important. Instead of just having you sign it and start the process.
so I guess what it's boiling down to is perhaps, Frank, you should have brought it here to the meeting. Let's all say, okay, great, we saw what needs to be said, and let's sign it and move on. I guess, is that what the crux of this argument is? Because I think we need this service, but I don't think we should circumvent what we voted on.
So, I mean, if I look at the stipulations, 1, 2, and 3, I mean, that's the kind of the stipulations I seen, but I didn't see that we'd be coming back here for another discussion on. But again, I can see what your point is, a review is a review, and if we were going to discuss the review, I think I'm also side with Frank. I think that this has been going on for way too long, and something that needs to be done, and we keep kicking the can down the road, and this is just not getting anything corrected.
Well, that was decided. We agreed. That was the vote, that we were going to hire
I
them.
think the problem here is the fact that a contract was signed without us knowing this contract was being signed, when that's the discussion last month, is we were going to first get the legal opinion and before we signed it. I mean, if we can get past that,
So I think that right now, with the contract signed, if I'm not mistaken, I think that they're ready to go with, start to do interviews. I think we should just keep moving forward at this point, not wait another,
They did start doing interviews
30 days.
today.
and then, again, keep our stipulation not to exceed the $2,500 and 60 days in length.
and Frank, when did they come in? You said today was their first day in?
Today they came in, yeah.
Okay.
So you're just going to gloss over this? This is a board decision, and you're just going to handle it any way the two of you see
I
best?
think I'm going off of our meeting and what we did. I think it's a misinterpretation
said
of what
to
we
me-
said about reviews the review part of it, I think, is what we're kind of, I think there's maybe a misunderstanding on both.
Well, also, it clearly says that I'm supposed to be the contact person. You said to me
Susan.
yesterday, Susan, you voted against it. So that,
I mean, I don't mean
Negates-
to start opening up our dirty laundry, but the purpose of this is, one of the reasons
Well,
is because of
wait,
the issues that
wait.
we're having with the township, and some of them are directly, I'm not going to try to point fingers, but we need them getting corrected.
Okay, it's not, I don't think it's dirty laundry, Mike. And we did say that Susan would be our point of contact. We all agreed on that.
Obviously, I think that she's the one who was in touch with the attorney, and that was the attorney's response to Susan, basically reaching out to the attorney. I don't think the attorney had any idea of the seriousness of where things are at right now. Was that a contact that Frank made to the attorney, or did you contact the attorney?
for what?
Under Sage Solutions?
I was trying to find the contract.
But you went
I am the record keeper.
Contract was in the board packet last month.
No, the signed contract, Frank. I have to have a copy of the signed contract for the files. I didn't even see that. And I'm supposed to be the contact person, so I started calling around because you were out last week, trying to figure out where we stood. That's another thing. When contracts have to be signed, that's my responsibility. That fire contract took, I don't know how many weeks to track down.
They claim they sent it.
Well, they
I
didn't.
took care of that for you. They claim they sent it through mail, we never got it, and then I went personally myself to Romeo City Hall and picked it up.
So it sounds like we have a problem here. Who's supposed to be signing these contracts? Does any one of us? have
Whoever's
the
name is on the
ability to
bottom of the contract, on the fire department, they passed it at their board meeting, and then I took the initiative of having all three of us sign it.
sign?
Then I took it myself to, I gave it to Megan. And then a couple weeks went by, somebody asked me about it, and I'm like, I don't know, let me call. So I called Megan. She said, we mailed that out last week. I said, well, we haven't received it yet. So and then I talked to Clerk Catherine over there,
But everyone signed it. It's all-
and she goes, yeah, we mailed it out. I'll have a copy waiting for you. So I went
But
there
the point
personally,
of this
picked
is-
it up, and brought it back.
That's how they get lost in the shuffle. I appreciate the help. I'm sure that's why you were doing it, but I'm supposed to keep track. And the same with this. I had to call Sage Solutions to get the copy.
All right, so how do we prevent this from happening again?
I think that we
Susan's
have
our
to at
point of
least ask,
contact. We agreed on that,
we have to at least ask the attorney about this.
yeah. I mean, if we already had them out, what do we do with that? You're already,
Right.
well, Susan, do you think that perhaps,
We have
We
to
could
go
let
to
it go?
Siebert.
I mean-
No, I'm going to send it to Siebert tomorrow.
Go ahead, send it to Siebert.
okay, and then are you going to get some detailed information as to
I'll
what
have
his
everybody copied
objections
on
are?
whatever you, yeah.
Okay. How long do you think that would take? Because we do have some issues that need to be addressed, so.
Well, they've already started the interviews.
Okay. So what are we looking to do now? What are we looking to do with this unfinished business line? You're going to take it back to the attorney and get some clarification for us?
Yeah.
At least I would like to hear some clarification
Yes.
on it. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't do this, because we did agree we do need this. We do need Sage in here.
He says in his email that it's not anything to do with the contract, but it's the services that they're providing, is what he had a question about, which I'm not sure if,
Yeah, those were his exact words to me on the phone. There's nothing wrong with this agreement. It's a typical service contract. I just don't, he said, I just feel that it's a waste of time to have to pay these people to come in here and interview people when your own labor attorney can do this. His exact words to me.
And because we paid $6,000 before to do it, didn't do anything with it.
Well, certain people didn't do anything with it. I think his number one issue was communication. Wasn't it? communication. And the fire department followed what they were supposed to do with our help, and they seem to be running just fine now.
Okay, I'll take it to Steve tomorrow.
Okay.
No action? We still approved it, basically.
Well,
As long as we
MTA
follow our conditions, I think.
said we had to bring it back to the board. I asked them about it.
So now are we on hold?
Well, I mean, again, I mean, not to say it in the wrong way, but I mean, this has been just taking too long, and every day that goes by, it creates worse and worse of an atmosphere in our township within the staff. I mean, I don't know if this is going to resolve the issue or not, but something's got to come to an end here real soon, as far as I'm concerned. Without doing anything, we're not going to get anything resolved. Obviously, I think there's some denial that's going on. We can wait till we hear from the attorney. We have to have maybe a special meeting to try to make some kind of decision, but I mean, the way I look at it, we approved it at our last board meeting, on a vote of 4-1. Again, naysaying vote. I don't see no reason why we can't move forward as long as we follow the 3 stipulations that we agreed on.
We'll go from here. I mean, we did say it was pending a review from the lawyer. Obviously, he looked at it, gave an opinion, didn't think it was something that he doesn't recommend that we execute the contract. I'm not sure how to read that.
All right, let's
I
get,
mean, we need help here. We do need Sage here. That's a gimme.
let's let Bob take a look at it, get a review letter from him on it.
Maybe he could be a little more specific on
Right.
what's really bothering him in that contract. Okay.
Move on. No action on item 6A, unfinished business. Move on to item 7A of new business, the parking lot bids. So obviously, we had half our parking lot done last year. We did budget, I think, around $180,000 to try to get the other half of the parking lot along with the side drive and the front done this year, along with having a big tree removed in the back parking lot where the roots are underneath the parking lot and ruining the parking lot. We did send out for proposals on this. We did receive 3 bids back. One of the bids were rejected because they didn't turn in the necessary paperwork. It just so happens that was the bid that did do the work last year, which was James P. Contracting. We still have 2 good bids from Peak Asphalt and also from Total Asphalt and Paving. Everybody's got the proposals in front of them. Now, obviously, Peak Asphalt's at $122,400 with the same type of scope of work as what we were requesting, along with Total Asphalt Paving, same kind of scope of work. And their bid was $96,000, substantial difference.
Total Asphalt did our last one, correct?
James P. Contracting
Oh,
did,
yeah.
and they're the ones that didn't turn in their insurance certificate. At this time, I'll make motion to go ahead and approve Total Asphalt for a total price of $96,000 to repave the balance of the parking lot, as stated.
Support.
Freddie Giorgio. I'm gonna change it, just, so we have some, from the work that was done last year and some of the existing stuff that was done in the front, I'd like to have some of the, while they're out here with the machinery and equipment, we need to have the grass knocked down, we need to have that cement removed from the front where the old monuments were at, and that needs to be shaved down. We got water that sits in front of the fire hall all the time. Need to get this front yard and backyard regraded so it slopes and it pitches to the driveways. It shouldn't be that much, but I'd like to put a additional cap on there, maybe not to exceed $7,500 on it a little bit, to get those issues addressed.
So you can put it out for bid again, you're saying?
No, same company, but as long as it doesn't exceed $7,500. It's part of the grading work that could be, done at the same time while they got the equipment out. While they're out here with their
Their equipment. Support.
Do you have questions, Susan?
Yeah, it doesn't sound, it sounds like if it's over that amount of money, it should go out for bid. Or it should have been included in to let these.
So last year, when we did the cement for the parking lot, the approach behind the fire station, we approved a $10,000 additional to have the cement replaced at the rear of the parking lot. I think it came in right around that price. So, and that was done by the same contractor that did the driveway. I just think we need to get our landscaping done. I mean, that cement slab is out in front of the building, has looked like that since we started in 2020 when we moved the memorial to the back.
Mike, have you talked to Total about that? Is that something that yeah?
No, but I will meet with them and I'll do a walkthrough to make sure that they're 100% on board with what the scope of the work is, and we're going to get the work that they did propose to do when it's done. And at the same time, can you give us additional price of having the dirt removed and regrading our front and backyard, which is small areas, but I'm still going to be a little bit of money.
And that's allowed?
Up to
without going out
75,
for bid?
after, above 7,500, it has to go out for bids.
Okay.
We'll go. So that would be I'm going to add that to my motion. So,
That, Anne Marie?
yeah, just be regrading the front backyard, just be a good way to put it. Yeah, it'll be taking the grass out. Redoing the whole grass. Yeah. Want me to restate my motion at all? I just have a motion to go ahead and approve total asphalt to remove and replace the existing driveway, the total price of $96,000, and then additional not to exceed $7,500 to do the grading work that's on the front and the back of the building. You seconded, Frank?
Yeah, I second it.
Second by DeGiorgio. If we have no other discussion, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries. Let's move on to item 7B, which is our green space on Prospect Street. I think we got Richard and Donna Folan here, both from Green Space Project.
Well, we want to thank the board for allowing us to come tonight. We're pretty excited about the green space on Prospect Street. It's really taken off. Got a lot of people behind it. Donna can kind of give you some of the statistics, but the green space, it is not only in the village, but it's in Bruce Township, and your voters will use it, and so will all the people in Washington. So we're really excited about it, and really it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. Originally they wanted to put 17 houses there. We got a group together, and we got the school board now to listen to us, and we got the village to listen to us. So we're excited about it. We got a lot of events coming up. We're still raising money, and here's Donna Folan, our spokeswoman.
I think Richard did a pretty good job of that, but I'll see what I can add. Anyway, we sent you guys a package of information. I'm not going to go over all that in detail. But, the vision of green space on Prospect Street, which we call ourselves GSOPS, is that 4.6 acre property, which is the former middle school property, has been a place for educational institution for learning for children since the early 19th century, and we would like to see that preserved in perpetuity. We're proposing green space and not a developed park. We're looking at being fiscally, environmentally sustainable with low maintenance, low cost improvements, lots of native landscape, arboretum, maybe looking at some community gardening, open space. Already you're out there, you're on a windy day, families would be out there flying kites and kids are running around, and so people are using it like it's a green space. our group, once we're successful with this, which we plan to be, we would like to continue to support with our fundraising, to support, the development and stewardship of green space, throughout the whole community, and that would include in Bruce Township and, not just limited to this. So once a property is acquired, we see it as probably going to be mowed open space until the money is raised to start, doing the sort of restoration with native plants and putting in some trails and that sort of thing. We also really would like it to be continue to be an educational resource. So whatever is done to improve the property, that if we could work with the schools district and for something that could be used as an outdoor classroom, I think that would honor that long educational history. And then just overall, because it's beautiful, to complement, the historic village. And so the reason why we think this is a terrific idea is green space in a community, Bruce Township or the Village of Romeo, is an economic driver. I mean, it makes a great place for people to live, and that attracts companies, that attracts employees who want to live here and stay here, move their families here, and just have a really great cycle to create a place, to create a community with a really high standard of living. Promote health and wellness, space to play, to provide, as we're looking at dealing with climate change and into the future, green space is real important infrastructure within a community for absorption of stormwater and, pollinator habitat and just a place for fresh air. And then, for it to always be a place of learning, as I mentioned before. Let's see. Some of our milestones, as Richard mentioned, it was back in November that the school board voted to pause any future RFP process for development through June 1, and June 1 has been our deadline. Our proposal is to raise $500,000, $500,000, towards purchase of the property. We are at $340,000. We did meet with the school board in May, and they gave us an extension until November 1 to continue our fundraising, which our internal deadline, we've moved that to August 1 to get to that $500,000 mark, because we need to start the process. All of our funding is in pledges, so that we're not taking in money that we don't have a certain future for. And then we can start calling in those pledges when we have a purchase agreement with municipal entity, which we assume will be the Village of Romeo, and Fork County Community Foundation, who is our fiduciary. They will be holding those funds, and then the Board of Education. So that was a pretty exciting moment that we got that extension. And we also had a really good conversation with the school board about the vision for the property, which they were sharing with us. And we want to look at some sort of deed restrictions on the property to make sure that it can't be, turned around and developed later. So we want to see that protected into the future. Got some stuff coming up. One of the things we're working on, we're launching a new major donor campaign, but we've also got fun stuff coming up, which we're teaming up with Historical Society, Romeo and Juliet Garden Club, that you sort of normally do the garden walk every year. For the 2024 Romeo Garden Walk, is called Gardens and Green Space, A Walk to Remember. So we've got 10 gardens throughout Romeo, Bruce, and Washington Township, and tickets are on sale now, and we're pretty excited about that. So if you could let folks know about that, I'd love to see you there. And then we've got these really cool bumper stickers. If you want to have one on your car, we brought some along. Yeah, is there any, do you have any questions for me?
Somebody wants to get a hold of you, got a phone number that they can reach out to, or website possibly? People that are at home that...
Absolutely. We've got, there's a QR code here that goes to our website.
All right. The people at home, they can just find those brochures pretty much anywhere in town to get the QR code?
Mm-hmm. But and also, you know how to get a hold of me. Anybody's welcome to call me.
but do you want to give the phone number out right now? So
I will do it. First of all, the email address is greenspaceromeo.org, and that gets you right to the website. And my phone number is 248-736-1649.
Thanks, Tom.
Happy to hear from anybody who has questions or wants to support. You bet.
I missed the part, I know you said it, but I missed it. Who is the group that will be owning this green space?
The vision is that the Village of Romeo will own the green space. The Village of Romeo has passed a resolution that if the funding is in place, they will consider acquisition of the property. So we don't have a firm commitment to acquire, but I'm hoping we will get there soon.
And that's who would be maintaining this green space?
And and that's why one of the plans is to make sure we're planning for low maintenance, low cost, and that we continue to be involved so that we can be raising money for, stewardship and improvement of their property, so they don't feel like they're on the hook. So the goal is to be public green space owned by a municipal entity and with a deed restriction on it.
You said you'll get their commitment once you reach the goal for the...
I think as we get there, we'll work towards a purchase agreement with the Board of Education and the Village of Romeo.
Okay, thank you.
Does anybody in the audience have a question for Don or Richard? Thank you.
It's pretty awesome, yeah. Yeah. One of the projects we're doing now is we're actually collecting stories. We're doing interviews, and we have a page on our website where we're doing interviews of people who went to school, the Romeo schools. We just interviewed 3 elderly sisters who are actually at the high school, so I'm going to work on posting that on the website tonight. It's pretty fun.
Just a quick funny story about it. My dad went to school there. He's gone now. But when they were tearing things down in the park, they took the bleachers down, and he had carved his name in the bottom of the bleachers. And they cut that piece of bleachers out to give it to him.
Oh, that's great. Do you have it now?
I don't, one of my sisters probably still has it. I'll have to check.
Yeah, we'd love to see a picture of that.
Okay.
That's a great story. Yeah, and one of the, this place matters. It's a place that matters to just an awful lot of people, and this is our opportunity to save it.
Thank you.
Thanks for the
Appreciate
time.
it. Keep up the good work, Richard. Thanks. See you around.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's move on to item 7C, which is our trustee appointment. We got 7C and 7D are a couple of appointments, but I wanted to make a statement first. So prior to my being elected in 2020, the way the appointments were done, the supervisor would make all the appointments in the township and make the recommendations to the board of who they would choose and who they wanted to see become a member, either the planning commission or ZBA, or make a recommendation to the board. I felt that the best thing to do would be that we should have applicants, anybody in the community that wanted to apply would be able to come in and fill out an application. It shouldn't have been up to the supervisor just to pick who they wanted. They would be able to come in and fill out an application. We would keep those applications on file. And then when there was a position that did open up either on the planning commission or the ZBA, or even possibly on the board of trustees in a vacated spot, we would have those applications that we could all look at, and those applications would be and then turned and interviewed by applicants or by members of either the planning commission or the ZBA. So currently we have a position that's open on the planning commission. We did have 3 applications on file. One of them, I reached out to all 3 of them. 2 of them were still interested in the position. One of them decided not to follow through on his application at this time because his schedule was so busy and he wanted to spend more time with his family. So we have 2 qualified applications. And again, these applications are available to anybody in the community, and you just come on up and just fill out an application. So there's, at this point in time, we would appreciate having more on file. So that's kind of how that happened. It's no longer my responsibility, but we did have 3 committee members from the planning commission that did interview the 2 applicants that we have for the planning commission currently, and we do have in your packet, you'll see that you're going to have a letter from the planning commission and their recommendation. So that's the way it's done. I think it's the most transparent way to do it. I think the most honest way of doing it. It's not like the good old boys club type of thing. So that's all. So we'll let That being said, we'll move on to item 7C, which is our trustee appointment to the vacated spot of Mike Tremblay from now until November 20th to 2024. You have the applications in front of you. We have two of them. One of them is Anne Marie, which you did hear from her earlier during public comment. And the other one, which everybody's familiar with, is Paul Okanowski, which is a previous board member and planning commission member. So, and right now, currently, as Anne Marie said, she does sit on the planning commission, and one of the positions that we do need to fill is the liaison between the planning commission and the board, which Anne Marie is already currently sitting on the planning commission. So I mean, she would be a perfect seat to fill the vacated spot by Mike Tremblay. So I mean, I will make a motion to go ahead and approve Anne Marie to fill Mike Tremblay's vacated spot until 11/20/24 on the Bruce Township Board of Trustees.
Support.
Support by Frank. Or any other discussion? Now, could we get a roll call, please, Anne Marie?
No.
No.
Yes.
Yes. Motion doesn't carry. So at this time, does anybody want to entertain another motion?
I would like to make a motion to appoint Paul Okanowski to fill the trustee position and also fill the planning commission spot that will then be vacated.
Did you see the letter from the planning commission?
I did see that letter. You want me to just tell you why I need a second in order to have a discussion, so.
You're
There's no
welcome to
I
make-
support.
Oh, did you support? Okay. So why, and I think Anne Marie, she's got an awesome resume here. All of it is, through Rochester, but I guess the idea of what you're doing carries forward from municipality to municipality. But this is only a temporary spot. It is only till November. Paul has served as a trustee, so he's very familiar with everything that has gone on in this township. And he's also been on Planning Commission. And looking at the two of them, in my opinion, he's a better fit because although Anne Marie has served on planning commissions with other towns, Paul is very familiar with our town specifically, and that's why I would want to choose Paul.
Also would mean that we wouldn't have to fill this other position, because Emery would still be on planning and would take the other spot.
Thank you, Susan. Yeah, that's another good
It
point.
doesn't make any sense because it still stays open anyways, because the vacated spot at the appointed person for the planning commission is still going to be up for renewal or reappointment on November 20th. So there would still be a reappointment at that time anyways. It would be a temporary spot, as Anne Marie had recommended.
So whoever wins would take that spot, or gets the trustee position.
So there's also the problem we have is that the new trust, somebody from the board, and according to the way our bylaws are written, it to be a liaison between the planning commission and the board, it must be, a board member must be, must sit on the board to be the liaison. And currently, do we have anybody that's willing to sit on the board and the PC?
But that's what you just said. I mean, the person that's elected, we'll have someone filling the trustee spot when they're elected. Then they'll have the opportunity, any one of us, whoever, would have the opportunity then to be the liaison on the planning commission. So why would you want to vacate basically two spots? We have one vacated, and we're going to pull another planning commission person and put him in trustee. Now we have two vacated spots. I think it makes more sense to keep Anne Marie where she is, doing the great job, and then filling in the trustee that will then take over just that once, the planning commission, we don't have to worry about refilling it.
I would, except for the person you're nominating, or that your motion is to approve is very argumentative, and there's not very many people that get along with them in the township.
All I can say to that is,
I mean,
and that's an opinion,
I said the same thing to him
It's
personally.
temporary, it's only till November, and I just think he's got so much knowledge with this.
I'm not saying that he doesn't. I think
That's why I feel that would be the better choice, and it's only a temporary spot till November.
Last month he came to the meeting, he was argumentative on two items with two people at the board.
Well,
mean, I
I'm not going to
understand.
defend it. What I'm going to say is that he gives his opinion, and then we argue his opinion. You can't argue someone's
He's still
opinion.
arguing about something from 4 years ago. It doesn't even pertain to him. It's an ordinance in the township. I mean, he's being so, trying to micromanage things that just are irrelevant. It was addressed and it was taken care of and it was brought to the attention of the township and it was satisfied, and he still goes on about it. Just like, give it up, Paul, you know? But, I mean, so be it. You made your motion, supported by Susan. Can we get a roll call, please?
No.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Unbelievable. So that motion doesn't carry, so we're stalled out again. So, this time, unless somebody else has a motion, that position, either position will be filled, which is not doing the township any good, as far as I'm concerned. It's unfortunate this board can't make a decision on this. Anything you want to do? Anything you want to make a motion, Frank, at all?
Make a motion that we appoint Anne Marie Boyce.
I mean, I would support it, but we've already had that motion.
Yeah, I know.
You know, why can't we just be bigger people than that?
Right.
Put your personal opinions aside.
This is not personal. This is based on professional, visual engagements with him and seeing him in action at the board level. At the board level and at the PC level, I've watched these meetings for a lot of years, as basically a
I've been to
lot
all
with
the
you.
meetings.
Very familiar with his argumentative behavior. And also, I'm very upset that there wasn't more done with the previous administration on his behalf. Why did he not do more? If he was on this board and he was a trustee, why was not more
But
done?
see, what I'm hearing is me, and that makes it personal. I think from what I see and coming to these meetings since 2008, Paul has a lot of knowledge, and he steps up to the plate when there's things to be done. And you may or may not agree with how he does it, but he gets the job done, and it's only a temporary spot until November. And I
Doesn't
think
matter.
it's the best choice.
Doesn't matter.
And then we have two qualified people. Anne Marie stays on the PC and
Anne Marie stays on the PC. That doesn't change anything. I don't understand how that's going to change anything. She doesn't lose her spot on the PC, or if she's on the board, she stays on the board.
also, it feels a little like you're leading this conversation because on the Planning Commission agenda, you actually had on there recommendations to the
That
board
was changed at
to
the planning
appoint.
commission level. That was changed at the beginning of the meetings.
I know,
She
but
misprinted.
you're still, it still went out and you're leading people to vote for Mr.
Like I said
Blaylock.
before, the way it was done, the supervisor would make the appointments. So this is not, I mean, we have applicants here, and I'm not trying to control the narrative, but I'm going off of what not just my own personal opinion. I mean, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I've been approached by a lot of people that are not real happy with the applicant that's here, that's, looking to fill this position after we've basically changed a lot of things and brought this township back around into a direction that's moving forward. And now we're looking at bringing people back on for the same reason that things were kind of let go before. It just doesn't make any sense. And I mean, we've got other people here at the township now that are spending hours in these offices that were on the previous administration, and I don't understand where this is really going, to be perfectly honest with you. But
What you're saying.
I think that opportunity was there, and you're right, I do have some personal opinions that I have against Paul. He did a lot of nasty things to me during our election when he ran against me, and I'm not going to call him out, I'm not going to say what they were, but, it was a lot of personal things that he did try to get to turn people against me, and I think that was very wrong, and I called him out on it. And that's not a character that I want to see sit on the board to represent the township of Bruce, so. Simple. We don't have an attorney here to go ahead and give us any kind of,
Well, we can flip a coin. It's been done before.
I'm not going to flip a coin.
And just for the record, when we had to fill a trustee spot once before, it was open to the public to put in an application, apply for it, and be interviewed. I can't speak for Planning Commission, but I will say for trustee that that's how it was done, because I was one of the applicants at that point. So I know that's how it was done. But I can't speak for Planning Commission. Maybe it is
Planning
the
Commission.
supervisors.
That's under the next agenda,
recommendation.
that's the next agenda item anyways. Right now, we're working on the trustee position. I will also say that Anne Marie is here tonight. The other applicant's not here. She did speak, she would be happy to fill a position and be the liaison between the two commissions. She's more than willing to do so. And I think that speaks a little bit on behalf of her character that she is here and the other applicant's not. And I don't have anything from the other applicant other than me reaching out to him on the phone to ask if he received inquiries about possibly doing an interview regarding the planning commission meeting, and he said he did, but decided not to call the people back or to recontact them because he felt that they should know his reputation well enough not to have to do another interview with them. That's pretty much quote unquote from Paul.
He's out of town, so I
Well-
don't think it's fair to assume he's going to be able to be available, a couple days' notice for an interview?
Well, I don't know how it would be a couple days' notice when this is something that vacated before. I
Well,
mean, where did we
the
give him a couple?
interviews, you just said, the interviews they didn't even decide to form a committee until the 5th.
Right, but they could have interviewed him over the phone. He didn't have to be present. They were doing interviews by Zoom. So he could have done it anywhere in the world. And if he chose not to, which I think says something, I don't know why,
Well, he might not have expected it either, because this is a
everybody's
new-
making
new
excuses
practice.
for him.
I'm just trying to be fair.
Fair. Seems like because all we got is everybody now coming back. We're doing full circle, and we're bringing everybody back to the township that kind of brought this place down originally. But motion didn't pass, so at this point in time, I don't think we can, until the next meeting.
No, we
Nothing else.
have to, because we have to do it in a certain amount of time.
All we can do is, like Frank said, he'll make another motion to go ahead and appoint Anne Marie Boyce to the Board of Trustees to fill the vacated spot of Mike Tremblay till November 2020. Now, I would support that motion. So, if there's no other discussion, we can take another roll call. I'll give it-
Yeah, I agree.
Not flipping a coin. Not going
Well,
to,
that's better than listening.
no,
to you kids.
we're not going to base the decisions on the township on a coin toss.
That's common practice.
No, it's not common practice. They did it in other issues, but other circumstances.
We all know how this next vote's going to go already, so why the heck? take
Not
it?
flipping a coin. I will not make decisions on the township on a coin toss. I'm just not going to do it. I'm sorry. I won't take my reputation on a coin toss to make decisions on the township. What else are we going to start flipping a coin on that we don't agree
When
on?
you guys can't agree, and there's only 4 of you, there's not 5 of you to break a tie, a coin toss breaks the tie.
Don't do it.
Not doing it. It's not professional for one thing, and it's not,
This is professional business. You guys argue all night?
sometimes it happens. This is,
Not arguing, it's debating.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
we have a motion and a second. Again, Anne Marie, if you want to take another roll call, go through this one.
No.
No.
Yes?
Yes.
That's not going to pass. Teresa, if you want to try again, try again.
It's not going to go anywhere.
Okay. So that's,
I just feel that if we have Paul, who is very familiar with our township, and if we appoint him into the trustee position, he can be the liaison on the planning commission. We're done with the whole thing. And, I mean, he's so knowledgeable. I mean, he
So is
volunteered to be on
so is
that
all the
water
other-
committee with me, and, he's willing to donate his time. I mean,
so is the other applicant. I mean, how can you discredit the other applicant?
I'm not discrediting, like I said, I think her resume is amazing, but everything is
She's
in
already on the
Rochester.
planning commission. She's here already saying if there's any questions we have regarding the 2 agenda items with the planning commission, she'd be happy to fill us in. I mean, that's what just doesn't make any sense
So
to me.
she was
It's-
appointed back November of '23.
Right.
Yeah, I still think between the two, because of Paul's experience and, Paul's knowledge of everything, I just feel that Paul is the better choice. You got to put personal stuff aside. I've said that when I sat in the audience, you got to put the personal stuff aside. You have to
Even
look
put my
at what they
per-
have to offer.
Even-
And both are good, But I think Paul just moves a little bit forward because he's been part of Bruce Township. And
I know he's been
waver on
part of
that one.
Bruce Township, but I know that, I know the sinking ship that we were handed by the previous administration.
You can't blame that all on him.
Well, I'm not blaming it all on him, but he was part of it, you know? But I guess we all have our opinion. I'm not going to say no more. So that spot sits vacant right now. It's simple, that's how it goes until the next meeting.
No, Mike, that's not how it works.
Well, we
We're
can't-
required to, or else we have to have a special election.
Well, we may have to have a special election, but right now
Let's
we're...
spend some more money. Why
Well,
not?
then you give in on your way. Don't get mad at me. You give up on who you want to vote for. I'm set on having Anne Marie. I think it's our best choice for the township and for the betterment of all the people in the community. It's my thought for a better choice, and I think Frank feels the same way, aside from the two of you guys, the way you feel.
I'd like to make a motion to flip a coin to decide
No,
who's going to
that's not
take
gonna
the trustee position.
I'm sorry. No way that's going to happen. What we're going to do is start flipping a coin when we can't make decisions on other things and start
Make a
talking.
motion, we have a special election.
Oh, my God. I don't even know if that's possible with the other election coming up, so.
I'm sure you guys will figure out a way.
Have you not taken into consideration the other members on the PC that he's going to be working with and what they said in their letter?
I only saw one. It was from Rick Hagelstein, that's all.
Well, that's for all three members. They're part of,
Make a notation here that Paul was not available to have communication with him. And he also said, he verified that you did talk with Paul, so
Right.
Paul was aware of this supposed Zoom discussion. I just
well, we'll read the
feel like
rest of
there's,
it.
I just feel like there's a lot of personal stuff here that has to be left at the door. And I know that you have, you know, some history and unfavorable stuff over an election, but you got to put that stuff aside.
Well, I'm looking at what
Gotta put
the,
aside.